Hi, I'm in Kane Hall. We're doing this graduation. Do you know how do I turn on the T-coil? The telecoil, for hearing assistance. So for people who have hearing aids, so this room has a telecoil, but it's not turned on. I don't. Okay, I'll go and find them then. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't see anybody, but I can see this. Okay. Okay, that's it.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to be starting in about 5 minutes, so if folks want to start to take their seats, we're going to be starting in about approximately 5 minutes. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to the graduation ceremonies. I'm Terry Scott. I'm the program director for the MEDEX program. And would you please stand and join me in welcoming the MEDEX Seattle Class 54.
Okay.
Thank you. You may be seated. So graduation is a big day for all of us. In a normal year, it's a wonderful day of celebration. Given what this group of individuals had to endure over the last 2 years, and yet did so with resiliency and persistence to attain this goal, is extraordinary. So let's give them another round of applause for their resiliency. Going to PA school is not easy. Yeah, your family members in attendance, I'm sure you've shared stories of all the challenges and difficulties that were faced during your time in the program. And given the challenges of the last 2.5 years or so, anyone in the audience who doesn't realize that trying to maintain a program of this stature and to continue to have a high-quality education, given some of the challenges that have been faced in the last 2 years, is extremely difficult. But we did so, and you are here today, and let me be one of the first to congratulate you on this momentous accomplishment. For most of you, this journey didn't just start 2 years ago. The goal of becoming a physician assistant takes time, energy, and commitment and dedication. And in the midst of that, a COVID crisis. I want to say none of us get here, none of you got here alone. And so I would like to ask you to please stand as graduates, face the audience, recognize those in attendance here supporting you for their support of you over the last several years. Thank you. 2 years ago, we welcomed you to the MEDEX program at the time you were embarking on a journey that would be one of the most challenging and yet one of the most rewarding of your career to date. Today, that journey ends and a new one begins. The opportunity to become a physician assistant is a privilege. You are now equipped with the basic knowledge and skills to deliver competent care to patients. In the future, the very lives of the individuals will depend on decisions you make with your patients. Please take that responsibility seriously and go forth and do the most good. I want to again welcome everybody to this graduation ceremony. This is the first graduation ceremony we've had in person since 2019, August of 2019. none of us expected it would be 3 years before we were back here in attendance. But COVID-19 taught us a lot, taught us how to do some things differently. And so today, while we are having this graduation ceremony, we're simultaneously having graduation ceremonies at our other campuses as well. In the past, that was not the case, but COVID has taught us that we can do things a lot differently and more efficiently. And so we have leadership from the program at other campuses, graduating classes in Spokane, Tacoma, Anchorage, Alaska, and soon Kona, Hawaii. So I think that as the last 2 years have taught us to be flexible and also to be creative. And so I recognize that as this group of individuals go forth to embark on their careers, I'm going to be happily watching to see what you guys do, because you've endured so much adversity, so much change, that I can only think that you're going to bring creative ideas to whatever practice you end up in. And so good luck with that. Good luck. I want to talk about what we can expect here today. So we're going to, while this is a formal ceremony, we also pride ourselves on our informality. So as we go through today, we're going to hear some welcome remarks from School of Medicine dignitaries. We have a keynote speaker. We're going to hear from student leaders and speakers. We're going to be presenting some awards that have been chosen by the faculty and will be surprises to the students. Then we're going to move to awarding some certificates, and we're going to have some closing ceremony. During this time, when your graduate comes across the stage, please feel free to get that once-in-a-lifetime photo if you feel like it. So that's that informality piece. I also appreciate the energy that's here when the graduates stood to acknowledge the folks who have supported them here. That's important. So while this is a formal ceremony, we also pride ourselves in our informality, so don't feel glued to those seats. If your graduate is coming across this stage and you want to hoot and holler, this is the Pacific Northwest, hoot and holler. So with that, I will hand it off to our next speaker. Our next speaker, I think, is Dr. Keene. Will be giving some School of Medicine welcome. Dr. Keene is a vice chair of the Department of Family Medicine. He's a longtime supporter of PAs. He's worked closely with the program, particularly the last 10 years or so, and I'll let him tell you more about himself. But Dr. Keene.
Thank you, Terry. How's everybody feeling this morning? Good morning to everybody. On behalf of the UW School of Medicine and the Department of Family Medicine, I welcome you all to celebrate the Seattle Class 54 graduation ceremony. My name is Misbah Keene. I've been part of MEDEX since 2002. I started my career in a rural practice in Othello, Washington, alongside two of the Class 1 MEDEX graduates, Paul Snyder and John Betts. Congratulations to the graduates. I really had a distinct pleasure of watching your growth and seeing you handle the rigors, not only of this MEDEX program, which is a challenge in itself, but also how you managed COVID. Your grit and determination and flexibility ensured that you not only completed the program, but also taught the program, the faculty, how to find innovative ways of completing education and enhancing our program. We are going through a period of transformation and opportunity like nothing seen before. You as future leaders have a duty to carry this path forwards. This will not be easy, but I know that our amazing faculty have done the very best to prepare you for a fulfilling career as a competent PA. And as a change agent, I wish you all the best in your career, and I know and trust that each of you will not only be a compassionate clinician, but also an esteemed colleague. Next, you'll be hearing from Dr. Paul James, our keynote speaker. Dr. James is a professor and chair of family medicine at the UW School of Medicine.
Thank you, Professor Keene and Professor Scott. There's a little more formality to giving a keynote address. When I asked, what would you like for me to talk about, they said about 10 minutes. But this is a rare opportunity because it is the last piece of instruction that you will get, graduates. And so it's really important that I be clear about the message that I deliver. And so I really want your attention. Before I start in on these graduates, I want to express my sincere thanks to you as family and friends because these people would not be here today without you. In fact, one of the most important things that I can tell you about physician assistants is it was a profession created specifically for teams. And all of us in life need our teams, whether it's our family and friends or the healthcare professionals that we work with. I want to thank our faculty and staff at MEDEX because without them, you would not be the trained professional that you have become today. Healthcare in America has become a very complex enterprise. Being smart is not good enough. You're still going to fail your patients if you're just smart. Being caring and hardworking, they're good, they're important, still not enough. The most important part about delivering high-quality care, and this is true for me today, every time I enter a room, is the team that I work with and the support that we give one another. I, like Dr. Keene, from the very first day I entered practice, I had 2 physician assistants. They were Vietnam veterans with a world of experience that were able to teach me and for whom I was able to share some information. It's important. So, like a good professor, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to teach you, then I'm going to remind you what I taught you. We're going to talk about 3 things. You've already heard one, and that's the importance of teamwork. Secondly, I want you to understand that the training that you have received is enough to make good decisions. Professor Scott challenged you to be that person that makes good decisions in the future, and I challenge you as well. And then most importantly, the third lesson that I'm going to hope that you get from this is that the most important ingredient, the most important medicine that you can offer your patients is the one called hope. And my expectation is not just that you give hope or prescribe hope, it is that you become the hope that they can rely on. So in order to do this instruction, I'm going to tell you a story from my life. But I want you to put yourself in that place. Imagine, and you really don't need to imagine because I can tell you, there is a person out there today going about their job, taking care of their children, who is on a collision course with you as a professional. They're going to come to you, and they're going to seek your help and your healing. They're out there, and they're waiting for you. And my challenge then is, how can we use these three things? And I want to share with you my experience. I had become the family doctor in the hometown that I grew up in, actually. And it was a Friday night in November. It had been an extremely busy week. It was a rainy November night. And it had been extremely busy, and I was the local high school football doctor. I volunteered, but sometimes, you just don't feel like going out when it's rainy and cold, especially if your team's losing. Maybe I wasn't a real fan, huh? My brother lived in the community, and he called me up and he said, Paul, you've got to come. I'm going to stop by and pick you up. And the next thing I knew, I was on my way. But it seemed burdensome at the time. So I was riding with him in the car, and it was a dark, wet, cold road. And in front of us, maybe just a couple of miles before the high school, we saw the flashing lights of fire trucks and rescue squads and the State Highway Patrol. My brother, who was a farmer, like all the rural people in that community, was a volunteer fireman. He pulled over and said, "We've got to go." And I'm like, I'm not a fireman. I thought, let me think for a moment. The EMTs are here, all the volunteer firemen are here. I'm just going to be the know-it-all doctor. They don't need my help. Maybe I'm thinking, I'm just tired. I'd rather be dry. Who knows? But the highway patrolman stepped just across the road to his car to call. And after just thinking for a moment, I jumped out and I asked him, "Is there anything you think I can do?" And he knew exactly who I was and said, "Oh, yes. Please, Dr. James, this young man just pulled out of his driveway, and a drunk driver hit him head on, and he's still in the wreckage." And so at that moment, it was pretty clear, wow, let me see what I can do. And I stepped into the bright lights of the rescue scene. And before I could do anything, the first voice I heard was a whisper to a mother that was, "Everything's going to be okay now. Dr. James is here." Insert your name there, because you can do everything I did that night. And it's important that you understand, for example, my own vulnerability at that moment. I was not pleased to hear that because I hadn't assessed the patient, didn't know what lay before me. But remember your training. The ABCs: airway, breathing, circulation. I was pleased that the young man could respond to me. He answered my questions. The EMT was trying to get IV access and was struggling a bit. We were all of us, our nerves were frayed. But really, I could just see that all he needed was to hold the skin a little more tautly because the vein was just rolling. You all know what I mean. And all I did was put my hand on the patient's skin a little more tautly. And the EMT's IV just went in smoothly. He smiled at me, and I smiled back. And I thought, okay, great. We've got IV access. We've got a responding person in front of us. And miraculously, within the next minute, the jaws of life released him. So everyone demanded that I get in the rescue squad and travel with him, which I thought was a good idea because it was very wet and cold. And it got me out of the football game. I think they lost again. But I share this story with you because then in the coming weeks, I was a little bit bothered because I had shared with you my reluctance of even being a volunteer. I had my own inadequacies. Sometimes we're not our best selves when we're tired, when we have a lot of different things on our mind. And the challenge is, how do we become our best selves? And how do we work in the context of a team? Many people in the community would come up and they would smile and thank me for saving the young man's life. And I thought, I was just part of a team. And I felt, boy, we were a little bit lucky. But I had the wonderful opportunity to go meet with his mother and ask her about that evening. And I want to share with you the wisdom that she shared with me. And it is about this thing called hope. She shared with me that when I used words like that, like chance, as if that was randomness, that had no meaning in her life. She didn't know, yeah, I guess you could be lucky or unlucky, but when your son's dying, that's not what you're thinking about. And she said, Dr. James, what I and my husband prayed for that night was a chance. Not chance, but a chance. A chance that if they had a healthcare professional that arrived on the scene, that their son, even if he died at that point, he would have had a partner, someone to work with to help him do his best. And they felt that that was all he needed. And she shared with me, Dr. James, that night, we all felt despair. And, I even shared with you that brief moment when someone said, everything's going to be okay. I had a tiny, tiny bit of that. But the professional in you and the training that you have been given are going to allow you to rely on your discipline. And when you do that, you become not just the giver of hope, you become the hope. So my challenge to you, from this day forward, tomorrow, the test is every day with the patients you see. And the test is about how you work together with all the members of your team, your nursing staff, the medical assistants, the physicians, creating that high-functioning team, relying on your training, the basics of that. And then most importantly, my expectation for you is that you're going to deliver this very special ingredient of hope. Give that to everyone. It is never wasted. Never wasted. So I've told you one of my stories from practice. What I look forward to one day is you returning and sharing those stories that you have of practice with Professor Scott and with our MEDEX program, and I hope that you can share them with me. Thank you all. Congratulations. I am oh so very proud of all of you.
Welcome, everyone. My name's Tara Hook. I'm part of the Seattle Didactic faculty. MEDEX, Seattle Class 54, your graduation has finally arrived. Congratulations. I'd like to take a moment to honor the hard work that you have put in to get here, particularly the patience and perseverance you have all shown. Over the last 2 years, your class has continually inspired me. In the middle of a pandemic, when most of the world was being held hostage by a menacing virus, your class saw a need and rose to it. You witnessed the unprecedented challenge that healthcare was facing, and rather than running away from the mayhem, each of you made the inspiring decision to run towards it. As Dr. Martin Luther King pointed out, the ultimate measure of a man or woman is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. You rose to that challenge, and I could not be more grateful for your decision. Your class was the first time we had ever done interviews in an online virtual format. Behind the scenes, I couldn't help but wonder whether it was possible to assess the character and drive of someone you'd never met in person. But it turns out your hearts were even bigger than those screens could contain. Each of you has overcome remarkable obstacles to reach this celebration, and I am so proud of you. We all are. Today, we are excited to welcome you as colleagues. It is my honor to introduce the Seattle class officers who have served as part of the student government for MEDEX Class 54. The class officers have been elected by their peers and provide leadership for the cohort. They provide support to each other and work together to reach both individual goals as healthcare providers as well as collective goals as an organization. They promote public awareness and advocacy for PAs, serve the community by coordinating service projects and charitable contributions. With great pleasure, I present our Seattle Class 54 student officers. President Michelle Finan. Vice President Jasmine Tablazan. Stand up. Secretary Megan Bowder. Treasurer Kelsey Hazama. AOR Representative Monica Rivas. AOR Alternate Jenna Kraft. WAPA Student Representative Sydney Medjol. Student Diversity Community Representative Nasheed Burgess. Director of Community Outreach Annika Barnett. Class Historian Matthew Danglis. And Social Director Jessica Abershep. Thank you, Michelle, Jasmine, Megan, Kelsey, Monica, Jenna, Sydney, Nasheed, Annika, Matthew, and Jessica for your service to your classmates and the dedication you've shown to your position. It is my honor now to present Michelle, who has served as class president these last 2 years. Michelle is a champion of MEDEX values. After obtaining her first master's degree in exercise physiology before entering PA school, she wanted to further her career in healthcare with a second master's degree in clinical health sciences and enrolled in MEDEX. She continued to advance health and welfare in underserved communities by obtaining certification as a bilingual medical provider. Personally, I was struck by her diligence and aptitude in the classroom. I will never forget the many times she would stay after class to ask relevant and thoughtful questions. It warmed my little faculty heart. Despite her many achievements, she continues to remain humble in her journey towards the operating room. Her attention to detail, compassion, and spirit make her both a leader in the classroom and outside of it. Without further ado, I present to you Seattle Class 54, Michelle.
Okay. We are not on Zoom. Okay. All right. Well, I'd like to thank you all for being here to celebrate with us in person today. I know many of you have already endured me during our white coat ceremony, so I'll do my best to be brief. I've spoken in the past about resilience that our class has shown and the unique challenges that we faced over the past 2.5 years. But today I wanted to pivot and celebrate our achievement. I hope to impart a little bit of advice and encouragement as each of you set out on your personal career paths. As many of you know, we have a very large national certifying exam coming up. It's the culmination of all of our studies, and it's the last step in becoming licensed PAs. And we're taught by MEDEX in a very systematic process. We move organ system by organ system through the body, and we start with the pathophysiology behind disease processes. We then look at the manifestation of symptoms and signs that our patients come to us with, whether that's in family medicine or in an emergency room. And we look at the diagnostic tools that we have at our disposal and what we can do to either confirm or rule out suspected diagnoses. And lastly, and the part I think most of our patients care about quite a bit, is what are we going to do to manage or potentially even treat their symptoms. And as I've been transitioning into the job search, and this new role in healthcare, I've kind of been analyzing my feelings in that same systematic way. And I've deemed it PA new grad insecurity syndrome. It's still work in progress. But I've been looking at kind of the triggers and what's causing it in my life and thinking about how I'm going to manage and deal with it. And I've struggled a lot with feelings of insecurity and uncertainty. And first, I've noticed that some of the triggers, it starts with looking at job postings that say, must require 2 years of experience, which is really daunting. And I deal with this decision of whether to take the risk and apply in hopes it'll pay off, or to have another glass of wine, go to sleep, and wake up without a rejection email, because that sounds really nice too. So it's a tough choice. I've seen it kind of manifesting in other ways. Particularly, I remember my friend Jenna and I just eating pasta at an Italian restaurant, and a gentleman started choking, and apparently his friends got up. It was wild, and we just were eating our pasta, and it took my boyfriend looking at us and saying, "Girls, get up!" Like there is no doctor standing up. And so we did it. We gave him the Heimlich, he coughed up a bunch of peas, and it all worked out. But it's little things like this and letting self-doubt creep in where I want to make sure I stand up in those instances going forward. And now, this is a clinical diagnosis, so I can't, order a lab test and tell someone else that they are also going through this. But while staying HIPAA compliant, I'm guessing there's about 48 people also going through this, just a guess. And in terms of managing these feelings, I don't have a clear-cut answer. I will say it's not as simple as when I would stub my toe as a child. My dad would say, "Do you want me to step on the other one so you forget about it?" And I would run away laughing instead of crying. And I can't say rest, ice, compress, and elevate, because it won't help. And it very well might get a little bit worse before it gets better for a lot of us. But what I do know is that the key is communicating and self-reflecting. It's relying on both our professional relationships that we've made, reaching out to mentors just so they can say, "Hey, I've been here before, it's normal." And it's also relying on our friends, our family, our personal support systems to remind us of our why and why we started this in the first place. And judging by our turnout today, I think we've done a pretty good job coercing all of these loved ones into 2 years of emotional and potentially financial support. And I'm guessing with some bribery or just out of the goodness of their hearts, they'll give us a little more time to lean on them. So the truth is, I really struggled with what to say to everyone today because, in all honesty, I haven't had a paying job in almost 3 years. And I don't feel like a great resource on career advice yet. So I struggled with the writer's block. I tried to rework a bridesmaid speech from a couple months ago, and that got weird, and it didn't feel right, felt way too intimate. So I did what any 30-year-old in my position would do. I called my mom. and she's the only person I could think of who would know how to help me. She is my compass dial, my beacon for hard work and success. She's celebrating 32 years as an actuarial consultant with her company, and she's retiring from an illustrious career this year. So that's my pitch, this advice, legit, tried and true. So I will give it to you straight from her. My mom says, I ran across this quote recently that sums up a big part of my feelings. Henry David Thoreau said, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. As you simplify your life, the laws of the universe become simpler." I believe my success is largely due to recognizing my strengths, gaining confidence from that knowledge, and charting a path to use those skills to the best purposes. But the quote doesn't say it all. To lead, you need to have a large dose of honesty about your weaknesses, along with that self-confidence and direction from knowing your strengths. Surround yourself with others that complement your skill set, learn and grow from them every day in a mutual relationship of collaboration and development. The whole will be greater than the sum of the parts. So with that being said, congratulations, MEDEX Class 54. I urge you all to go as confidently as possible in the direction of your dreams. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Well said. Our next speaker has also embodied the mission, vision, and values of MEDEX. Nasheed Burgess has served as Seattle Class 54's Student Diversity Committee representative and has demonstrated his passion for diversity and inclusion and equity throughout his time at MEDEX. Before joining MEDEX, Nasheed served as a sergeant in the U.S. Army and completed his first master's degree in forensic medicine. Then, despite the rigorous coursework of our PA program and the remarkable achievement of becoming a first-time father during didactic year, he has continued to demonstrate perpetual eagerness to learn by now pursuing a doctorate in global health and disaster medicine while beginning his career in emergency medicine and critical care. Nasheed is a leader in the field already, and I'm excited to see the changes our profession will undergo in this next generation of PAs begin their careers. It is my great pleasure to present Nasheed Burgess.
Y'all could have had me go first after Michelle, but it's okay. Good morning, Seattle Class 54. How y'all doing? All right. Good morning to the family, the friends, our fearless leaders. Thank you to all of our supporters that have so graciously come to share this momentous occasion with us. Without your unwavering support, your listening ear, your many motivational speeches during our didactic year mental meltdowns, I'm pretty sure we had, many of us would not have made it without you all. So please give yourself a round of applause. To my MEDEX fam, how y'all doing? It feels good, don't it? Oh, we're done, baby. We're done. Yeah. For the new PAs in the building, a journey that has taken some of us over a decade to accomplish. We're here. You made it. The light that a lot of us thought would never get closer is now the reasons that we shade ourselves from our bright futures. Seattle 54, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You've become my village. We started this process together, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, during our in-person interviews. Remember those days? About 3 years ago? We all somehow gravitated towards each other. We had dinner together, you know. We started our first exam during summer term, crushed it. We finished summer term, completed our exams, absolutely crushed it. We got to winter term. What in the world did we sign ourselves up for? We had all planned to walk into class together with our newly fitted fig scrubs, looking like a new season of Grey's Anatomy. And then boom, COVID. Now there we were, trapped in between four walls, staring at a lonely screen of endless panoptos, unable to travel to see our loved ones when we were stressed, overwhelmed, mentally incapacitated. Hobbies and physical outlets like working out were put on hold, an indefinite hold. Gyms, tracks, trails were closed. Even sidewalks were a potential vector for getting a virus. It almost felt like we were cut off from the world and left to progress through this experience alone. But one thing remained constant: our support of each other. Our village stood tall. Our commander-in-chief, Michelle, was our own version of a customer support page because she always found a solution to our many issues and problems. And best believe, family, we had a lot of those. John helped us ease our nerves while providing Disney songs to sing along to before every exam. Appreciate that, man. Nick, being our master of dad jokes and comedic relief, even during class, we appreciate you. Matt made us feel celebrated with a newsletter that shared our personal hobbies, quirks, and favorite adult beverages. Appreciate you, man. And can we really forget Holly getting us through Patho? There are so many others that put in so much effort into ensuring that none of us felt alone during the most difficult 2.5 years of exhaustive studying, social injustice, political unrest, and a virus that has destroyed millions of lives and hurt countless of generations. But team, we made it. As we look forward into our new lives as young PAs, let's not forget who we are and what we are made of. Our ears negated the words of encouragement from our loved ones, even though they only spoke truths about our character. We endured many obstacles, yet here we stand. Our eyes filled with tears, visions of our own failures, the darknesses of the unknown, yet here we stand. Our mouths formed words that spoke of our inability to prevail through our experience, but yet here we stand. My friends, my family, my colleagues, here we stand as physician associates, as providers, and as University of Washington, MEDEX Northwest Seattle Class 54. Now let's go save some lives. Always forward.
Closing time, open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time, turn all of the lights on over every boy and every girl. Closing time, one last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. Take me home. Places you will be from. Closing time, this room won't be open till your brothers or your sisters come. So gather up your jackets, move it to the exits. I hope you have found a friend. some other beginning's end. Yeah, I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. Take me home. Places you will be from. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. Take me home. I know take me home. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. Take me home. Time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
Calling in the distance, so I packed my things and ran far away from all the trouble I had caused with my two hands. Alone we traveled on with nothing but a shadow. We fled far away.
Hold your horses now.
Until the sun goes down.
Through the woods we ride.
Until the mountains sound.
Hold your horses now.
Until the sun goes down.
Through the woods we ride.
Some had scars and some had scratches. It made me wonder about their past. And as I looked around, I began to notice that we were nothing like the rest.
Hold your horses now.
Until the sun goes down.
Through the woods we ride.
Until the mountains sound.
Hold your horses now.
Until the sun goes down.
Through the woods we ride. We sleep until the sun
So the PA profession was formed by returning military, ex-military, and veterans, and MEDEX has tried its best to make a home for people who are military or ex-military. The Class 1 MEDEX graduates were almost all exclusively veterans. And today we want to take a minute and honor those who have served. And I would like to ask the graduates who are military, ex-military, or veterans to stand up and be recognized. Thank you for your service. Next, I would like to ask anybody in the audience who's military, ex-military, or a veteran, or from our faculty to stand up and be recognized. Thank you for your service. I would pass it on to our next speaker.
Good morning. My name is Bree Gutierrez. I'm a PA and the clinical coordinator for the Seattle campus. I have the privilege today in helping to acknowledge several of our excellent preceptors that the class of 2022 have nominated this year for the Golden Apple Award. I want to first take a moment to acknowledge all the incredible preceptors that trained our students this year. We want to recognize the commitment and time you have put in, and thank you for helping and training our students. This year, we would like to acknowledge 3 Golden Apple recipients and share what our students have said about these preceptors. These individuals were identified for their excellence in providing a positive learning experience, even in the world of medicine, when things are far from being boring or slow. A quote I found that resonated with me in identifying a successful preceptor is from Benjamin Franklin, and he said, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn." Each of these preceptors have involved many of our students in their daily patient care, allowing them to learn and grow into practicing clinicians. 2 of our Golden Apple recipients were not able to be here today. I would first like to recognize these 2 individuals. The first Golden Apple is awarded to Bliss Jensen, a physician assistant in family medicine at Ridgefield and Woodland Family Medicine in Ridgefield, Washington. Bliss graduated from the Keck School of Medicine with a Master of Physician Assistant Practice at USC, Los Angeles. She completed her undergrad studies at San Diego State University, receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Communication. Bliss has graciously taken several of our students during each 4-month primary care rotation, including in a last-minute nature. Bliss was described by our students as being a wonderful preceptor who is approachable and passionate. Bliss's trust in our students have made them have the confidence to gain more experience in procedures and allowed them to feel like they were in a safe environment to learn. Thank you, Bliss. We will be mailing you your Golden Apple. The next Golden Apple is awarded to Rizwana Lott, a physician assistant in family medicine at the Community Health Center of Snohomish County, Everett College Clinic in Everett, Washington. Rizwana attended Bangalore Medical School in 1987 and graduated from the UW MEDEX PA program in 2005. Rizwana kindly takes a student every 4-month primary rotation as well. Her students describe her as being an excellent mentor and very helpful in helping them to develop confidence in the clinical setting. She is known to push her students to see more complex patients and provide constructive feedback to improve their clinical knowledge. Thank you, Rizwana. We are very grateful for you. We will be mailing you your Golden Apple as well. I'd like to present a golden apple to Dr. Alex Wessel. Dr. Wessel specializes in orthopedic trauma surgery and Centura Orthopedics and Spine in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Dr. Wessel earned his medical degree from Indiana University, followed by orthopedic residency program at the University of Missouri, Columbia. He then went on to complete a fellowship in orthopedic trauma surgery at the University of California, Davis. Dr. Wessel was described by our students as a great teacher and mentor and provided a high-quality learning environment with hands-on experience. He was empathetic and made students feel comfortable in Colorado Springs. He allowed students to scrub into every case, taught them surgical etiquette, as well as how to navigate working in a surgical department. Dr. Wessel, we are very appreciative of your dedication to our students. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations.
Good morning. I'm Dathian Sturgis. I am faculty with the UW MEDEX program. I'm also vice chair for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion for the Department of Family Medicine, and also serve as the associate program director of Regional Affairs, and JEDI is what we affectionately call Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. And in the interim, I guess I do a lot. In the interim, associate program director of Academic Affairs. But it gives me great honor to be presenting the first award today to a most deserving student. This class is actually the first class I've seen all the way through since I moved to Seattle, so this is a very special day for me as well. So it's the culmination of seeing you all in interview, remembering your ties and socks. That's the thing, that's the strange things I remember from interviews. But the first award that I will be giving out is the John B. Coombs Leadership Award. Dr. Coombs was the Associate Director for Regional Affairs and Rural Health in the School of Medicine and had a long record of promoting the PA profession. This award is presented to students in each training site who have become role models to their peers, have assumed some of the responsibilities of leadership during their training, and have carried out those responsibilities with integrity, cooperation, and understanding. The recipient today has a large reach into the community before PA school, during PA school, and I know this will continue on after this student is a practicing PA in their respective community. And today we will be bestowing the John B. Coombs Leadership Award to Jasmine Marie Tableson.
Hello, I'm Lois Thetford, and it is my pleasure to do 2 awards today. First, I'm going to start with a little anecdote about how wonderful this class has been, how adaptable they've been. And I went to Precept Foot Care at the Tent City campment when they were here on campus in 20, and so the students are all there and gowned with face masks and shields and gloves, and this small person comes up to me and says, "I'm one of your students." And I said to Jasmine, "So nice to meet you. I never would have recognized you just by your forehead." Because that's all we got to see very much. Just amazing adaptability and really spirit in the face of incredible challenges and leading the way for us as well. So the first award is the Dick Layton Award. Dr. Layton was a long-term chair in the MEDEX Advisory Board. He had a long record of community involvement and work with medically underserved populations, and he's the inspiration for this award. This recipient hails from Spokane and has volunteered for Habitat for Humanity, served food to those experiencing homelessness, volunteered on Fiji, and won a woman's scholarship that put her through Gonzaga University. Aaliyah Miller has shown a devotion to carry on our tradition of serving underserved populations. Aaliyah Miller, please come up. Our next award is the Spirit of MEDEX. Sometimes this goes to one student. One year we gave them to 5 students who came here from Charles Drew University after they lost their accreditation, and we gave all 5 or 6 of them the Spirit of MEDEX Award for their perseverance. This award acknowledges students at every campus who have dedicated themselves to their goal of being a physician assistant, who have shown compassion, sensitivity to others, and who have maintained their humor and perseverance in the face of adversity. They have a positive attitude and are ambassadors for our program throughout their MEDEX training. And I would like to say, and this will go on, and I look forward to seeing you at every WAP conference at our MEDEX meet and greet options. And this year, we have 2 recipients. Nasheed Burgess, who you've met. Nasheed was awarded the Provost Award in Forensic Biology at Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine in Suwanee, Georgia. He served 9 years in the Army Reserves, worked as an advanced EMT, ER tech, and he was a wonderful classmate and always helped his class have a good attitude and a good learning environment. Our second recipient, DK. Do-Hin Kim. He served 4 years in active duty as a healthcare specialist, a combat lifesaver, and charge medic and conductor of massive immunizations for 700 personnel. He has both an interest in emergency medicine and dermatology. And for the humor part, one summer session we were doing, there was construction in my neighborhood, and there was an underground fire that knocked out all of our power. And therefore, I was teaching this class, and I immediately blacked out to the students, and I managed to get back on my phone. And at that time, DK and his classmates said, "Do you think that we students need to do a GoFundMe for the faculty to have better internet access?"
The next award is the Stephen Turnipseed PAC Veterans Award. This award recognizes a MEDEX student who is a military veteran for demonstrating outstanding leadership within the MEDEX class and exceptionally meritorious service within their local community. Stephen Termseed was a decorated veteran and the first black matriculant and graduate of the MEDEX PA program. Earlier this year, he passed away at the age of 84. In his memory, today, this award is presented to an individual who has selflessly served our country in the United States Army and has one of the best smiles I've ever seen, Dallin Peterson. The next award is the Student Writing Award. This award is given to students from various training sites who have combined creativity and unique approaches with exceptional writing skills in their assigned papers. Today's recipient has gone above and beyond when it comes to scholarship and new contributions to medical research. His capstone paper, Racial Disparities in the Treatment and Outcomes of Pediatric Type 1 Diabetes Mellitus, has been accepted at 2 national medical conferences and most recently presented at the American Academy of Physician Assistants Conference in Indianapolis, Indiana, with another upcoming presentation in Atlanta, Georgia at a conference sponsored by our National Commission on Credentialing of PAs. Today's recipient is Maninder Sethi. All right, so next, this is what you've all been waiting for. Oh, you want? Okay. Okay. How are we going to do it? Okay.
So now we get to the part that everybody's waiting for, and that's presentation of the awards. We're a little rusty because it's been 3 years, but we're going to be rearranging the stage a little bit. And the graduates, you guys know what to do next, right? Because we're going to line you up over here, and we're going to march you across stage and hand you those certificates. That's all. Okay. Okay. All right. Get your cameras out, your videos going. You ready? All right. The first graduate is Jessica Taylor Abrusha.
Nicholas Aaron Baker. Annika Grace Barnett. Megan Bowder. Judy Blake. Eileen or Kim Boyle. Adrian Bryant. Nasheed Rashad Burgess. Devin Burwell. Christina Callan. Warren Chang. Rona Chu. Okay. Jenna Kraft. Sarah Jane Curtis. Matthew M. Danglis. Michelle Elizabeth Finan. John David Griffin. Blake Harding. Caitlin Hartle. Brian Hashisaki. Kelsey Hazama. Christine Yi Wong. Brian Lee Jokinen. Do-Yeon Kim. Solomon Crevens. Hoa Trong Lu. Lorna Mary McKinnon. Lindsay Virginia Malling. Nathan Matthew Charles McQuarrie. Sydney Beaumont McGill. Sarah Ruth Ann Mavison. Aaliyah Lavinia Miller. Rebecca Milnes. Nicole Diane Montenola. Lincoln Wynn. Dallin David Peterson. Kylie Noel Cahow Pollard. Monica Rivas. Hannah Marie Rodriguez. Samantha Jean Seeger. Maninderpal Singh Sethi. Jasmine Marie Tablazon. Yeshi Tay. Sarah T. Tori Wyatt. Let's see. Sandy Yee. Carolyn Yee. And Sophie Yu. We will now have closing remarks from our section head program director, Professor Terry Scott.
Graduates, would you please stand? It is my distinct honor and pleasure to present to you the graduating class 54 of Seattle. Best of luck. So this ends our formal ceremony, but we'll ask the graduates, this may not have been part of the script, but we would like to get you on stage for one last group photo before we're all done, so please don't leave, and Jim will coordinate that. But this ends the formal presentation. You know, I can't add any more words of wisdom that haven't already been said by the folks who have gone through this today. I just want to say thank you all for your persistence, your patience with the last couple of years. It has been a challenge, and your resiliency, your grit, your determination. I can only imagine what your careers are going to be like when you take that same amount of grit and determination and do good, because our world needs you. One thing that was missed, and I will say that, is that the healthcare industry has been hit hard by the COVID pandemic. You've witnessed that as you've done your rotations. So as you go forth and take your national exam, you're going to find a job because you're needed desperately at this time in every specialty. So I look forward to seeing your careers unfold, and so thank you for your time with the program. So again, this ends it, and thank you.